so called by the Malays, is just exactly what its name means, an iron mountain. Under this jungle-covered ridge lies one of Southeast Asia's richest deposits of iron. Bukit is on the east coast of Malaya, in the state of Terengganu and the town of Dungun on the China Sea. This open-cast mine, operated by a private company, is one of the major producers in Asia of high-grade iron ore, and from it, the most modern equipment carves out more than 1 million tons of iron ore each year and transports it to the sea. The company's railway, running through the jungle, carries the ore 18 miles to the small town of Dungun. The railway is the only means of access to the mine. From Dungun, the ore runs out to sea by a conveyor belt along the jetty. Here it drops into lighters, which load the ships of all nations which come to collect it. Most of it goes to the steel mills of Japan and Europe. The key to efficient mining is advanced planning. A planned campaign of surveying and prospecting goes on continuously. No easy task in this thick jungle country. Diamond drills bore deep into the mountain, probing and exploring the deposits of iron. Samples are screened to find out particle size and then ground to powder for chemical tests. More than 150 samples are analyzed every day in the company's modern laboratory, and from the results, each day's production is closely controlled and future mining is planned. Every day, too, more of the jungle is felled and cleared to prepare for further mining. The best logs are used in the company's sawmill for its many building projects. When the site is cleared, drills bore down to determine the quality of the ore, and the holes are used later for blasting. After the all clear sounds, the shovels move into action, along with tractors and the 15-ton trucks. shovel lift 4 tons of iron ore. The Malay operators are trained at the mine and are highly proficient. Boulders of this size are pushed aside for secondary blasting. The fleet of trucks delivers the ore to the crusher at the rate of 1 truck every 3 minutes. Here, the ore is tipped into the crusher bin, which stands at the head of the conveyor system. The mammoth crusher's jaws are clenched to break the ore into small pieces. From the crusher, the ore is fed to a conveyor belt, which is divided into 5 sections and runs for nearly 4,000 feet between the crusher and the rail loading bin. It can carry 1,000 tons an hour. At the end of the 4th belt, a small stockpile is built up as a reserve to keep the railway wagons moving should production temporarily stop. A bulldozer pushes the ore from the stockpile to tunnels through which it is fed to the 5th belt. Here the ore is loaded into railway trucks and starts its 18-mile journey through the jungle to the sea. But before we follow it down the line, we'll stay for a moment to see the people of all races who work there. Many workers come from Dungun every day to work at the mine, but about 4,000 people live in the mining village at the Iron Mountain itself. British, Americans, Swiss, Australians, Malays, Chinese and Indians all live and work there together. Labourers and their families live in barrack blocks. There are neat, modern bungalows for artisans, technicians, and senior staff. More than 300 children go to the Malay and English schools at the mine, and free milk is given to them every day by the company's welfare department. The women of all races have got together to form a women's institute. Here they teach each other to cook and sew, to weave and to make toys. The women weave at their institute are in traditional Terengganu patterns with the liberal use of gold thread. They are all sold at the mine shop where there is a steady demand for them. The shop is run on a non-profit basis to keep the cost of living low. There is a modern and well-equipped hospital with a qualified staff. The mine is now free of malaria, but continuous control is necessary. It's possible to enjoy most recreations and amusements at the mine in spite of its isolated position in the middle of the jungle. Scouting, swimming, tennis, cricket and other games are all part of life there. The security of the mine is guarded by trained police who night and day patrol the jungle which surrounds it. Three generators run 24 hours a day to supply electric power and light. Locally trained technicians carry out all maintenance and repairs. The railway is self-contained and carries out all locomotive repairs to keep the ore trains moving, 50 of them every day. A modern wash plant improves the ore by agitated washing. The ore is dumped in the wash plant over a grizzly. Here, knives and lifters separate the clay and iron by reducing the clay to slime. ore is then rinsed and graded. And so the ore moves on down the railway to Dungun and the China Sea. When the northeast monsoon storms prevent shipping between November and March, ore is stockpiled. The ore wagons enter a rotary tipper which clears them. It falls into a bin from which belts carry it to the stockpile of the jetty. At the end of the jetty, cross belts transport the ore to lighters. Goods loaded at once. High-grade iron ore are shipped every year to Japan, Britain and Europe to be made into iron and steel. More than a